Yo, welcome to the NS9 Postgame Show. I am your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we got Jim Rosati. Jim, we got a Pirates victory today. How you do?
Man, when you saw the lineup come out tonight, I don't think you would have expected an 8-run barrage.
Correct. I have some things I want to say about that, but
yeah,
correct. No, you're absolutely correct. It was 8-4. Some really bad pitching all around Brewers and Pirates side. We'll talk about Quinn Priester a little bit. He mitigated a bit of the damage, right? So the Pirates ended up getting the victory today. But yeah, let's start with that lineup. Let's start with that lineup. Year 4 of the Charrington rebuild, second half of it, and probably 4 guys that belong in the minor leagues that were starting.
Yeah, I mean, 4's being nice, I think. I think 5 is probably a more accurate number. But hey,
Sure.
You know what? Doesn't matter. Game they won. Like this lineup scored 8 runs, so at the end of the day, it worked. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you want to see more Andrew McCutchen. I'm not quite sure why like Liover Peguero is sitting like 3-4 times a week, so I don't know what's going on there.
Especially with Nick Gonzalez back now.
Like, I don't know why Vinny Capra is getting starts. Like, he shouldn't even be on this roster. But you know what? I'm not going to complain after an 8-4 loss. We can complain about that stuff later.
I got to read this comment. It says, I once took a writing class on how to write dialogue. One of the things the teacher drilled into us is never write correct. People in real life don't respond correct. DiNardo proves him wrong. I do love saying correct. But correct, Jim. No, I want to say something, and this is part of what I want to say. You know what? I hate these lineups. And do you know why I hate these lineups? Couple meanings. One of them, they're terrible. You do not go into a game, create that lineup, and say, this is the best possibility. These will give us the best odds. This is how I want to go my first step forward to try to win this game. The issue is, this is baseball. This is the beauty of baseball, and lineups like these can win, right? Chances are, if you're in an NBA game and you play your 6, 7, and 9 guy in their starting lineup, you're probably going to lose. If you go into a football game and you have your third string quarterback play and your star receivers on the bench and your left tackle is replaced by the right guard, you're probably going to lose. But baseball, you can still win. And nights like this that they win, you get to get scolded on how, you were wrong that this lineup was bad. No, the lineup is still bad. Making a wrong decision and the outcome still coming in your favor doesn't mean the decision that you made was correct. There you go. Once again, another correct.
No, you're right. And at the end of the day, it was a bad lineup, and this lineup isn't consistently going to win you baseball games. So, yeah, I mean that's the team's problem, is they're putting out lineups that are not competitive. The thing with baseball is, yeah, like you can be the worst team ever, and you're still going to win a third of your games.
Right.
Be the worst team ever. So, I mean, tonight just kind of proves that. Like, the Pirates were clearly not the better team tonight on paper, but on the field, they won 8-4, had 12 hits. They did commit 3 errors somehow, but and made some base running blunders too. Like, it was an ugly game, but the bats picked them up.
Right. So let me preface the rest of the show this way. I'm a bit irritated today on many levels for many reasons. A lot of it having to do with the Pirates. A lot of it having to do with responses of people in reply of the Pirate situation. But that's all put the rest. I said what I want to say today about the lineup. Let's move forward. Like you said, it is a victory. Let's celebrate in this. It was 8-4. Let's have the people that dunked on us. Let's celebrate them. Alfonso Rivas is an MLB player once again. The throw-in piece to just basically give the Pirates innings at first base had 3 hits. A home run, Jim.
Yeah.
35 today. There you go, Alfonso Rivas. Thank you for dunking all over me. But again, big part of this victory today. Bryan Reynolds came through today also with 3 hits.
Well, do we want to spend some time on Rivas?
Yeah, I just wanted to go through this the 2 guys. Again, the show's title with Reynolds. But yeah, Rivas and Bryan Reynolds coming through today, both with 3 hits today. Big part of this victory. But let's get back to Rivas. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. At the end of the day, this is a guy who just is a body to play first base for the rest of the season. I don't think anybody should expect performances like this out of Alfonso Rivas. But today he had everything working. Like I said, 3 for 5, double shy of the cycle. The home run, it was a wall scraper there, but it was a big home run. I mean, that was a 2-out, 3-run homer in the first inning. And without that hit, who knows what this game ends up looking like? Because, instead of the Pirates being up 3-2 after 1, they're down 2-0. Right. And the game could go a completely different direction. So, I mean, you got to, again, like, you can say the guy had a great game without saying, he's him or, he's the best first baseman the Pirates have ever had. Like, the guy is not a good baseball player. He had a really good game today.
Which is fair. And okay, he had a good game. We talked about it. We'll celebrate it. Like you said, a big part of the victory today. So yeah, Alfonso Rivas. I mean, again, like go down the line. Also, Josh Palacios. You know what? The Pirates, they don't care about leadoff hitters. As I posted on Twitter today, the leadoff hitter for the Pirates on this season has I think it was a 298 on base. Could be a 297, something like that. Clearly, like I don't understand the whole leadoff situation. You talked about why Andrew McCutchen's sitting. My biggest question is when Andrew McCutchen's in the game, why is he also not leading off? Especially for this club right now. But regardless, we'll get past that. Josh Palacios goes in there, and I say, oh, well, here we go. Right. Once again, we're just blowing away the leadoff role. That's not important by any means. Let's put Josh Palacios in like his 290 on base. Home run.
What's wild to me is, and let's also add in, it was against Bryce Wilson, Yeah. But what's crazy is we're talking about a Milwaukee Brewers team that did they lose? They're still in first place. First place Milwaukee Brewers team, and Bryce Wilson is on their active roster. How crazy is that?
I mean, it's not too crazy when like the Brewers also aren't that good. Like they play in the NL Central. But I get your point, and you're absolutely correct. He actually has not been terrible in the bullpen role.
He hasn't. Although this was the 6th straight game that Bryce Wilson pitched in that the Brewers lost. So he clearly doesn't have like a real role in that bullpen.
So he's no Quinn Priester is what you're trying to tell us.
He's no Quinn Priester. Quinn Priester has this uncanny ability to just, when he pitches, he just tells the offense that they need to score more runs, and they do.
He has like the Austin Hedges intangibles to him.
The will to win.
Right. You don't look at performance. Performance doesn't matter. It's just he has good vibes.
What matters at the end of the day are wins and losses. And the Pirates have won 3 straight Quinn Priester starts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Quinn Priester has 4 starts, 3 of them win. He has a 75% winning percentage.
Yeah. He didn't get the win today, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the team win is what matters. And 3 straight wins by the Pirates on Quinn Priester starts.
That's right. Do we want to get into actual Quinn Priester start? Or do we want to
sure.
talk about this offense?
Yeah, no, we can talk about Quinn.
Okay. It wasn't a good start. Much like all of his. It was actually like a bit opposite, though. And again, like we talked about, I know last time I did the post game on Quinn Priester Day, it was a lot of he is Cy Young the first time through the lineup. I mean, he is really, really good, and then he just drops off a cliff. And he gave up a lot of hits the first time to the lineup today. So it wasn't like your typical out of 3 starts Quinn Priester start, right? As you mentioned, they give the 2 runs to the Brewers early. So like the first time to the lineup, they were hitting him. They were getting to him. Then he kind of relaxed and calmed down. And then we saw, right, went off at the 5th inning. It kind of fell apart again, came out. But yeah, I mean, overall, he only lasted 4 innings. That's not good. He labored through them. It was how many pitches? Yeah, 88 pitches in those 4 innings. But in those 4 innings, he also had 5 hits, 3 walks, 3 earned, 3 Ks, and a home run. So his ERA does lower to 8.69 on the year. And with an 8.69 ERA, the Pirates have 3 victories in those 4 starts.
Yeah, it was I said the Pirates won, but this was a pretty concerning start to me for Quinn Priester. Like the stuff was bad. His 4-seam fastball averaged 91.6 today. That was down 1.3 miles per hour from his season average. Sinker averaged 92.6. Like he threw changeups today that were harder than 4-seam fastballs. Yeah. That's how his fastball, I don't even understand how you throw a changeup harder than a 4-seam fastball. It's like it's extremely hard to do if you're throwing your changeup correctly. And so I don't get what this just lack of velocity is for Quinn Priester because
well, it doesn't end with him, but yeah.
But like when he was drafted, he was throwing 96, and now here you are. You would think that you would have gotten stronger, in your 4 years in the minors, and he topped out today at 94. That was the top. So it's concerning. The breaking stuff is still pretty good. Breaking stuff is good, but until he can figure out something with that hard stuff, you're gonna see him labor through his starts.
This is why. So I want to talk about this. So Doug says it was Priester's best start, and I saw a couple comments in that regards too. And I guess what I want to say was the fact that he pitched. So it was what, the 3rd inning, I think it was, where bases were loaded, no outs, and like he pulled through. Nobody scored. Right, got 3 straight outs. Like he, the will there, right? Like there was some stuff that was, I don't want to say impressive, but better than his other starts. But I can't look at this and like, yeah, this was, I felt good about the start. This was his best start. I mean, granted, all the starts have been bad, so it doesn't take much. But even with that said, like I don't come out of this like thinking like, this is his best start. Something to, hang my hat on per se. Like you're saying, like I don't know if nervous is the right word, but then again, like he's not the only Pirates pitcher you're seeing this from. Like, where is this velocity? I mean, it's you cannot be an effective MLB starter doing what he's doing. But the fact is, he wasn't doing this a month ago in the minors.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's concerning because like it's a trend, like you said. Like you're seeing other starting pitchers. You're like Luis Ortiz's fastball is down 4 miles an hour from last year. Roansy Contreras is throwing 91 miles an hour. Quinn Priester is throwing 91 miles an hour. Like this is a concerning trend with your pitchers now, your young arms, where they are losing velocity as they get closer to the majors. So yeah, I don't know if definitely something that they need to address from an entire organization this offseason, because this is now just too many people where you're seeing a complete fall when it comes to their stuff. And it's coming at the worst time. It's coming like as they're knocking on the doors to being a major league pitcher, their stuff takes a giant step back.
Yeah, or as soon as they hit the majors.
Yeah,
I don't get it, and that's my biggest problem. But when I say that, people come at me. This is a huge problem. I'm sorry, but like And tonight's start, like Quinn Priester just carries this point. Like, I understand, like, we talked his ceiling is limited, but you can't be an 8 ERA pitcher. He's got to be better than that. I don't care if he's not going to be an ace. He has to at least be a 4 or 5. You can't be doing what he's doing right now and be a 4 or 5 pitcher. And with that being said, you can't have Quinn Priester come out up here and then just be terrible like he is. And again, it's not just Quinn Priester. It's Luis Ortiz. It's Roansy Contreras. We're back in the minors. By the way, Roansy Contreras makes a rehab, or not a rehab, but he made his first low A start today on his mend back to the majors, I guess. And he's throwing 92 again too, 91. And now, granted, I don't know if it's like a ramp up period from, like, I don't want to put too much emphasis on that right now. He did throw a 2-seamer at 88.5 miles an hour. But anyways, I don't want to put too much emphasis on that right now. Let's see a little bit more. But this is like what we're talking about. What is going on with the pitching development? What is going on with the young guys? Why they hit the majors? And then there's no velocity, because you can't, like, if your off-speed stuff is good, like, it doesn't play off this fastball that's 91 miles an hour. You just can't do it. You can't be an effective pitcher. You're not putting these guys in the best situation. So what is going on? I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think it's something that all Pirates fans should be concerned about. The pitching, as far as like the future pitching of this organization goes, it's bleak. I don't know if there's anyone you can really rely on. I mean, I don't know how you could look at the minors and rely on any of these arms just based off of what you've seen in the last few years. Every arm that came through your system that it was interesting has failed, once they've gotten to the majors. So I think, if you're looking at the future, Mitch Keller, you're probably still feeling good about him going forward, being a major league pitcher you can rely on. And I think Paul Skeens is someone you can count on, but no one else. Like, I really like Jared Jones. I really like Anthony Solometo. I really like Bubba Chandler. Like, I really like these guys, but by no means should you expect any of them to perform well in the majors based off of what their counterparts have done once they've reached.
Right. Again, like, that's my biggest worry. So great. I like Jared Jones too. So what happens when he comes in next year and he's pitching 93? Like, you've taken away what makes Jared Jones good. Well, so great. I believe in him as well. But if this regime is still intact the way it is and they're doing what they're doing, like, they're just not going to make him effective. Apparently. Don't know why, but apparently they're just not going to. So again, that's where my concerns are. I'm sorry, I'm gone into the rabbit hole again. I said I was going to stop at the early part. There's a victory. Let's get back onto that. Let's get back to this post game. I apologize, everyone. So yes, Quinn Priester, though, does go 4 innings. Wasn't pretty. We discussed that, but he did enough to keep it, in the Pirates in the game. That's what I want to talk about, right? Like, it was bad pitching. Colin Rea and Quinn Priester both weren't pitching effective, but Quinn Priester did just enough to not allow the Brewers to score the runs where, the Pirates capitalize and score the runs. So Quinn Priester comes out just 4 innings, but has a nice lead. And then Yerry De Los Santos comes in. Basically, for the most part, the bullpen comes in. They all do a good enough job to hold it down. It was only Majinski who gave up another run. But let's talk a little bit. So De Los Santos, he looked okay. Jim, you're on here again with me. King Baraki, I don't know. I don't know. I know it's for the memes. I know it's for the fun, but Ryan Baraki comes in, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts, nothing earned again. His ERA down to 2.79.
It's wild. He throws strikes. Like, he throws strikes. Yeah. He's the fastball, I feel like, has actually gotten better from when we first saw him. He throws fastballs 95 miles per hour pretty consistently. So in the slider, sweeper, however you want to call it, it's a really good pitch. And when you've got those 2 pitches, then he throws the changeup too to righty. So he's got a decent pitch mix, and he's around the zone. And anytime you take those two things and put them together, you're gonna find success if you can command those pitches. But I think the biggest thing with Borucki is the walks. Like, he doesn't walk people.
Sure.
It took him a while to kind of get his strikeout rate up, because I don't think he struck out a batter for his first like 4 outings. But the guys around the zone and the stuff is decent. And he's a lefty, just a different look.
So you talk about he throws strikes, right? And like that's part of it. He doesn't walk a lot. We saw, and again, like today with Quinn Priest, like you see how walks can really hurt you. Actually, Majinski even, right? You see how walks can hurt you.
The only people who got in trouble today were walking people.
Yep. So Borucki doesn't walk people, so he limits damage. But Jim, 8 swings, 6 whiffs today, also by Borucki, right? Three swing and misses on the changeup, 1 on the slider, 2 on the sinker. 75% whiff rate in that inning. Like, it's not just he's throwing strikes anymore, not walking people and relying on the defense and limiting. Like, he's getting guys to swing and miss on him. I'm just confused. Okay, maybe Ryan Borucki is is the reclamation project and the guy that they can. He's like the new Mitch. I'm not gonna go that far, but anyways, like he was awful. He was god awful in the minors, Jim. I mean, just absolutely god awful. There was nothing to be happy about with Ryan Borucki coming up. And he came up and he showed you that first start exactly why you didn't want him there. Not start, outing. And then after that, he's been King Borucki. And I can't argue against it anymore.
So I'll say this. You mentioned the minors, right? The Pirates acquired him, into this season, right? He started the season in the Cubs organization. Yes. And in 9 AAA innings, he gave up 12 runs, right? Yes. He was terrible.
16 hits.
He was terrible. Yeah. But
I'm like Tyler now these days.
But in Pittsburgh for AAA Indianapolis, 8 1/3 scoreless. He did not give up a run. And then here in Pittsburgh, like I think the Pirates, honestly, this is just a case where the Pirates identified a guy who maybe did something really well and the Cubs didn't see it and maybe didn't identify it. I think the Pirates in this case, this is a scouting success, in my opinion. Like, I think the Pirates identified something in Borucki, and then once they got him in the system, unleashed it. That's the only thing I can see from these numbers, because it was literally as soon as he got in the system.
Well, what's odd, I shouldn't say it's odd. It's actually very on point. I mean, he was with Toronto. The connection made sense. This is going to, Charrington knows this guy. He's familiar with him. He's going to bring him on over. But it's not as if he had like this major success in Toronto and then he went to Chicago and just flamed out. Like, he really hasn't really been a good pitcher. Like, he's been fine to bad. And then
he was,
like you say,
he was good in 2018.
Yeah, but 2018 was what? Oh,
he was 24-year-old rookie. He was a starter at that point too, and like he had a pretty good rookie year. So like
it was a good rookie. Okay.
So I mean that actually brings up a point. I kind of forgot about the Toronto connection. So maybe there was something there that Charrington knew that he liked about Borucki. Not a whole lot of other people knew what it was, and when he got him back, you're now seeing the success. I don't know. But
I guess, well, that's what I kind of was looking to. And I'll take away. I kind of forgot about the rookie season as the starter and such, but like him as a reliever, even in Toronto, it wasn't that good. So it's like if he saw something, you think you would have expected to have seen it then too, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't like he was good, went to the Cubs, was bad, and the Cubs like, oh, it's just gone. And then Ben brought him back and said, hey, keep doing this stuff again that we had you do in Toronto. Like, yeah, they brought him back, and now he actually is good. So again, like I'm with you. I can definitely give Pirates credit to this if this is legit, because It has been legit, and I want it. Let me word it. I want it to be legit, but I'm fearful that it's not legit. Right? I've been assuming he's bad all this time.
Yeah.
But I'm at the point now where it's just like it's been too much right now, and you're seeing progression. Keyword progression. We don't use that often on this show. That maybe this actually is legit, and I have to like really, really start buying it. It's not just to be funny because everyone in Discord calls him King Baraki, right?
Yeah.
So, like again, you talked about throwing strikes. Yes, he does that, but he's getting guys to swing and miss as well. Like he actually is more than a competent pitcher right now. He's pitching well. He is actually the guy you want to see go in to get you the big out.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm saying this.
I remember there being an episode, a post-game show less than a month ago where Tyler lost his mind because Baraki was like the first guy that they called on in the bullpen. And like he lost his mind. And now here we are, and we're like, I want to see him in the game in tough situations. That's where we are with Baraki.
Right. You're absolutely correct. And it's not in jest. You look at this bullpen, and there's some parts, but I believe in Ryan Baraki right now. I believe in him. When he's in there, they keep saying, I don't know the say anyways, but I do. Like I believe in Ryan Baraki right now until he proves to me that I shouldn't. I'm on that boat right now where I'm in. I'm not gonna say I'm all in, but I'm certainly in at this point.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So after him, let's talk about Mlodzinski though. We've talked. I know you're a big Mlodzinski believer as well. He looked good. He gave up a couple walks. Actually, 3. Sorry, he gave up 3 walks. I forgot about that last one. But he got out of the inning. It was just 1 run. He held him there. It was shaky, but like again, like what I take away from that outing was like you look at the stuff. Stuff was still there, but he wasn't hitting the spots like at all.
Yeah, I mean that's what you kind of get, right? If you're not hitting your spots, you're gonna get yourself in trouble. When you get yourself in trouble, you're gonna give up a run like Mlodzinski did here. But he is kind of blessed with that decent stuff. So when he does get in trouble, he's able to get himself out of it. So he did make, some big pitches there to limit the damage to just 1 run. The game was, kind of in the bag at that point, but you didn't want the Brewers really to get any closer than they were. So some big pitches from Mlodzinski, and yeah, he kept this thing at arm's length.
You make a good point, like with the stuff, right? Like the stuff gets him out, and it showed. His ineffectiveness got to 3 walks, right? But because the stuff is so wicked, that strike 3 on Bryan Anderson, like he had no business swinging at that. That was way outside. That probably, you know what I mean? Like, but he gets an out because he still didn't hit his spot. The stuff is still so good that he made him swing on it. So yeah, good point in that sense. And again, like that's why there's certainly some intrigue with Mlodzinski there. But yeah, so that happens. Colin Halderman comes in, scoreless, 2 strikeouts, and of course, David Bednar comes in and just says, "I am a god." Secures the victory. Scoreless.
Yeah, Halderman's been really good since coming off the IL, and Bednar's Bednar.
It's like I hate it. It's not boring, but it's just like we're back to that phase. Like you just glance over David Bednar. Like, yeah, he just came in and just threw a perfect 9th inning.
Yeah,
it's Bednar. I want to talk about Mlodzinski and Baraki. And here's Bednar who throws the best. Someone's like, yeah, he threw a perfect inning. Next.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting boring at this point. Like unless it's like a 1-run game.
That is why he was shaky the past week. Got to keep us back on our toes and excited.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
He just wanted to, mess things up a little bit.
Sure. All right. And then outside of that, let's get back to the offense. Or is there anything else we want to talk about?
No, I mean, I think we have to talk about Henry Davis kind of wakes up. He quite frankly hasn't been hitting the ball very well the past week or two, but he has a good game today. he's been keeping the OBP up because he's still having good at bats. He's still walking a really good amount. But nice to see him today hit a 2-run home run. And then he also adds a single. So multi-hit game for Henry Davis. Hopefully that kind of gets him back on track there. And then Bryan Reynolds, who also hasn't looked good since early April. Good game today. 3 for 5, double homer. Again, he's someone that we've talked about a lot. Like, he needs to be better.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to finish off this season like the Bryan Reynolds of last year or 2 years ago.
So I was gonna say, yeah, you said like he hasn't looked good. Lately he has though. So he's on an 8-game hitting streak currently. And then in that 8 games, 4 multi-hit games. So he has been like, again, I'm just saying, like, it has started to click lately. So this would be nice to see if Reynolds is back and if he finishes out the season. I'm not saying he has to have like, a 50-game hit streak going forward still in this rate, but like if he finishes out the season strong with this, I feel a lot more comfortable about next year in the future. Not that I don't, but again, like he can't do this. And I'm not saying it's because of the contract. I know there's a lot of implications that fans out there like, oh, he signed his pen to the paper and now he's done. He got his money. Like, I don't believe in that. I don't believe that's Bryan Reynolds. I know he doesn't have emotion and he'll never show it, but I don't think is Bryan Reynolds, right? I think it would eat at him if that's how his career went. What I do hope is he's not an average hitter at a corner outfield spot going forward. So if this is the spark to finish out his season and to say, hey, you know what? Remember me? I am Bryan Reynolds. Makes me feel a lot better about Bryan Reynolds going forward in the future.
Yeah, I mean, he hit his 13th home run today. Yeah, if he can get hot, and he's certainly capable of it, hit 12 bombs these last 2 months, that would get to that 25 homer clip. That would probably raise his slugging, to 500. That would put me in a much better mood if we're talking about like 830 OPS Bryan Reynolds, as opposed to the 775 that he is right now.
Sure. And I think like on top of that too, one thing we discussed was like how important wins are the rest of the year. For many reasons. One of them is just what you can carry over to 2024. So if the Pirates are going to collect some wins at the end of this year, it's probably going to be with the help of Bryan Reynolds, especially have lineups like Palacios in it and Alika Williams in it and Rivas in it. You're going to need Bryan Reynolds.
Yeah. The lineup today, honestly, scared me in that it screamed, hey, we're tanking again. Like, that was a tanking kind of lineup. That was a 2022 type lineup,
Yeah.
Like I said, they came through today, so that was nice to see. But hopefully, we see just much better looking lineups going forward.
For sure. So yeah, again, Bryan Reynolds, very, very good game. Davis, as you mentioned, right? And then outside of that, well, you know what? Alika Williams, he also had 2 hits today. I mean, just to give him his due. He had 2 hits today, a double as well. The bat has come back alive a little bit. I mean, he was talk about bad starts. I'm not, he hasn't had a whole lot of plate appearances. What's like I said, 23 on the year right now. But he came in, he was hitless for like a few games. So he's starting to collect a little bit of hits now. He's a 106 weighted run created plus on the year in those 23 plate appearances. So with that said, like, he had a couple hits today. Nothing, he didn't score, no RBIs, didn't really mean much, but he collected them. Andy does go over 3, but had a walk.
It's a little 4-game hitting streak for Williams.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Triolo played third as Hayes had the day off. He did get another hit today as well. But yeah, really, the only ones that didn't get a hit was Endy, Capra, and Sawinski, but they all walked.
Yeah, that's actually kind of funny. Looking at the box score, the only walks are from the people who didn't get a hit. No one who got a hit
on that
also walked.
There you go. But everyone got on base.
Yes.
This lineup, everybody got on base.
Every single one of them.
Crazy. All right. So outside of that,
that's all I
anything
got.
else?
No,
Let's wrap this up
good.
then.
Let's wrap it up.
All right. So with that said, let's get out of here. Before we do, just want to mention, as you might know, right, we did open up our NS9 merch store. Link is in the description here, of course, on the website, everywhere else, our linked tree. But yeah, currently, if you do want to go ahead and purchase something there, everything is 20% off. So with the opening, go check it out. It's through the weekend, 20% off everything. We got some sales, some people getting some shirts. Appreciate you guys if you have. If you haven't, go ahead and do so. And I appreciate you too.
Correct.
We out of here, Jim. What'd you say?
Correct.
Correct. All right. Let's see Jim's stupid face.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.